All right. Well, the stream died. I had to restart my computer. I updated all my drivers. No, I'm here. All right. Go to my stuff. All right. All right. Now I just got to post a couple more places. Yeah. All right, let me get a drink. And did I post to here? Bam. I'm being a shit. Ah. All right. Everyone needs to know it's back. It's back. It's really back. I promise. I promise. I don't know what happened last time. It seems like OBS is what crashed. We are so back. Finally. Yeah. Finally. Hang on. Let me message one more person real quick. All right. Message. Nope. Let me make sure they get the memo. All right. They have the memo now. I'm yelling at them. Here we go. Hello, hello, Sushimaru. Same. See that? See that? Oh, I'm in The wrong Twitch menu. That's weird. Manage my sub to this guy. I have a lifetime tier 3 sub to myself? That's so cool. That's so cool. Anyways, let me go back to my dashboard so I can see everything better. Sorry about that. All right. Well, we're gonna load. We gotta load here. Because this is where we were. Oh, wait. I just remembered. I do have to go here. I had to turn it on again. Because I checked. I did not get a sexy CG of her. She lied to me. She did not give me a sexy CG. It was always a lie. So anyways, now I can go load and get here. Right where we left off. Do you have a map or something? Turn down my light. We don't. This woman. I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You simply must have a map handy. Well, we don't have a map. Go back to wherever you came from. Well, I've been lost for a few hours. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer. Sleep on the floor or something. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help? Or just wait. She put her smoke in the ashtray and headed to the staff-only area. She came back in no time. I found it. All right. They have so much detail on her. She's clearly a main character of some sort. We're gonna see her later. I don't know how important she is, but she's important. She had a map. Of course she did. I think you're the raging loop, Sush. She's more ill-tempered than before. Alright, go north of the crossroads. You'll find an overpass. Cross it when you come to a fork. Turn right. Head straight. What of it? There's nothing there. There's a settlement. It's not just on the map. There's Fujiyoshi, but it's 2 hours through a mountain pass. This is only about 30 minutes away. Oh man, the road leading to this place is just a mess. It's like impossible to really navigate properly. It's all awkward to get through. You know, it's just not the kind of terrain you want to you want to deal with. Alright.
じゃあ、こっち行ってみます。
I'll go to that one then. Thank you.
はい。
Kone,
払ってねえだろ。
you didn't pay for your oolong tea.
ああ。なぜ、お釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
Why'd you put the change in the box without asking? Having too many coins is a pain. That was a hell of a line. I thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea. She didn't even give me a bag for my little bottle of tea. I remember one time I was a bag boy. What euphemism should I use today? Someone that would likely have a chirping fire alarm at home brought a plastic bag of salad to me. It was the only item they bought, and they wanted it put in a bag. And I asked, because we asked at the time, paper or plastic, got no answer. Just put it in paper. And they turned into a fire alarm. They wanted to let me know that they were offended that I put their salad in a paper bag and not a plastic one. And it's like, well, it's no difference to me, really. Like, it's paper or plastic, and I don't get to put things in paper bags all the time. I honestly prefer them. No lie, paper bags were always better. Maybe not speed-wise, but just being able to condense things more. I drank the entire bottle of soju tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon. Little did the reader know I was actually a werewolf the entire time. Obscured by clouds, but still high enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. It's like, I just can't put myself in these shoes. I'm just not someone that can get mad, because I'll just go to the store, I'll buy whatever, and then I'll leave. But I'm also the type of person that could get like charged for the wrong thing and just not care. Because I'm like, I don't want to cause trouble. Following the directions, I crossed an overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulder, standing there like a roadside shrine to some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground and tall grass. The path and sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. Why was it red? It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test. Yet, as we basically tumbled down to the bottom, the headlight suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But it was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of a cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact. I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which I felt unpleasant pain. An accident where I was flung out like that was the first for me. The launch was really something too. I 360 no-scoped the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad I thought my bones had all shattered and my organs had ruptured. My face and limbs seemed fine, at least, though I wasn't sure if that was a silver lining. The grass under my hands... There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves I was wearing. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I had landed on. I pushed down my hand and sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't confirm anything, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike wasn't nearly as lucky. It was lying on its side, a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept turning and making an unpleasant friction noise. It was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness. So I stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like this wasn't actually a cliff. It was still a road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in the mud, so there was no risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. So there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around. The moment I considered that, I saw a faint light ahead. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket and took out the phone and opened it up. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran the light app and I used my phone's flashlight to see better. Like, translation is not the hard part, I feel. It's stop. I don't know. There's so many ways to make it less clunky. And as my friend Sushimaru in chat will attest, we're very familiar with the way of localizers. They never worry about actually making things fluent and less clunky. What they're always worried about is like, oh, well, how can we insert a woke buzzword here? Can we insert a outdated meme? Because what localizing is for, it is for lines like this. It's for lines like this, where it's probably not as clunky in Japanese. Maybe it is. Sus. Skibbity, hawk to a hawk. Like, I swear to God, there's gonna be like a bajillion visual novels that have skibbity toilet bullshit inserted into them because the localizer was like, oh, I don't like this line. We're gonna replace it with skibbity toilet. I can't believe I got away with it, guys. Why are they replacing me with machine translation? I just couldn't tell you. I just couldn't. I just don't know why they're replacing us with machines. It's clearly just to get rid of us. We totally didn't do anything to deserve this. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. That's my other favorite. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for. Sure enough. Hang on. Let me pull something up. All right, there we go. No, that didn't fix the thing I was trying to fix. Oh well. I was gonna go pull it up. Anyways. I could see a light behind the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps. I could hear water too. I might have been near a river. Oh no. Sumimasen! Excuse me. Excuse me, is anyone there? Declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take a few years off of both our lives. That's why I figured it was best for us both to let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the water? Excuse me. I shined my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. There was a river. Or a stream, rather. You can see it slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river and the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight. It was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I figured that crossing a river barefoot at midnight was a bad idea. But man, it was cold. I put my phone in my jacket pocket. I needed both of my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked into the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. It was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. Suddenly, it hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound in my step, I walked to the light. I could see it clearly. It was a flashlight, just lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening, and yet the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the worst, but most likely scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it to light things up. It was the dead of night. There's no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. The fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me with the light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above? Konbanwa. I heard a voice. The moment I looked up, the rock cliff was actually made of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは。
Konbanwa?
ああ、人だ。びっくりした。
Wow, a person! You scared me. That was my line.
だけど、それ取ってもらえます？
Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
ってわけですか。
You dropped this. I picked up the flashlight and pointed at the source of the voice. Ow! High-pitched voice. Slender hands shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman. Hang on just a sec. Sorry about that. I had to blow my nose. Since we're all paused. On a dark desert highway, the cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell. And I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle. And she showed me the way. Alright, there we go. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, "Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face." Alright. I'll remember that. Alright, I had to fix a setting too. There we go. Why is the water a BGM? Why is the water a BGM, and why can't I slide it? That's so bad. Anyways, sure enough, it was a young woman. It's so bright.
失礼。ちなみに、こっちはこういうものですが。
Sorry, this is me, by the way.
下から照らさない。
That's creepy. Don't shine it from below like that.
実は、当方道に迷っており。
I'm actually a bit lost.
だとすると割と究極的に迷って。
I think it's a bit of some... I think a bit is something of an understatement. Yeah, I thought as much.
で、人里です。
Is this a settlement?
難しい質問だな。
That's a difficult question.
とりあえず、助けてもらえないかと。
Can you help me out at least?
助ける。
Help?
野生動物が。
I need a place to hide from the rain and wild animals is all. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあうち来ます？
Want to come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. My place. By that, she surely meant a house or a settlement.
いいんです。
Can I now?
なんですが、遠慮
I know I asked for help and all, but
には切羽詰まってるんですが。
I'm actually desperate enough to not hold myself back.
男として？
As a man?
ええ。いや違う。
No, I mean
として
as a living being.
迷った挙句、
I spent the last few hours aimlessly driving around, only to fall off my back. I'm dead tired and at my wit's end.
あらら。なら見捨てるのもどうよって感じじゃないです？一個の生命として。
Halala? Then what kind of being would I be if I just abandoned you? And so I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other.
いいです？
Anyway, give me your hand.
ここ一人じゃ登れないでしょ？
You can't climb up on your own, yeah? True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, which I grabbed with my left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. Her name was Chiemi Serizawa. I asked if she was related to Shinsegumi, but she said that her family had just adopted that name at some point during the Meiji period. She was 21, went to college not far from here. This is her hometown, and she was spending her post-exam vacation here. We chatted about stuff, and once she led me out of the rocky ravine, there was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless. But I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground.
ちなみにそち
And what about you?
名前は房石春明。東京で大学院生やってます。
My name is Haraki, a graduate student from Tokyo College.
じゃあちょっと年上
Ah, so you're just a little bit older. Oh man, I could make so many like music references. Drew's on a vacation far away.
24だから。
I'm 24, so 3 years.
でも
Oh my gosh.
同世代でしょ。
Oh my gosh. When the Never 7 remake comes out, I'm playing it for sure. I'm going to stream it. But there's a character in Never 7. She's 24. And it's really funny because in Never 7, this 24-year-old is treated as if she's 30. Okay, you know, everyone has been going on about hag maxing lately. And she's not even 25, and they treat her like she's a hag. It's really funny. Wait, why am I permanently blonde on YouTube? On the YouTube page, did it, like, delay? Okay, the YouTube page is, like, 5 minutes behind. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry, I have 2 previews going. Alright.
知恵みでいいですよ敬語とかもいらないです
Don't be so formal with me.
じゃあ僕も呼び捨てタメ口がいいな。
Then you can be casual with me too.
ですか
Disco?
女の子に親しくされてるみたいで嬉しいからね。
Ureshi kamane.
なるほど実は私も堅苦しいの苦手なんでじゃあ遠慮なく
Naruhodo. I don't like stiff socializing. I'll treat you like a friend.
どうぞどうぞ。ちなみにまだ結構遠い？
Wouldn't have it any other way. Are we there yet?
そうでもないかなもう5分くらい頑張りましょい
We're like 5 minutes away. Hang in there, Chief. A lively girl. You could tell she was used to people.
ただ足元
Also,
気をつけて
watch your step.
だけ見て
Just focus on the light.
何か
この辺石ころだらけで危ないんだ
There are loads of pebbles here, and it's kind of dangerous. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble.
あと今夜はずいぶん暗いしね
It's pretty dark tonight. I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement. I focused on following the light in her hand.
ちょっと待っててもらえます着替えちゃうんで
I gotta change. Wait here a sec. So I waited. given that this was a mountain settlement, I expected some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. It was too dark to get a good look. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls like you'd expect from an old boarding house for students. She lived in room 202. I heard some raindrops while we were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness, and the large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on inside. I felt all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel helpless. I distracted myself by imagining her changing. Eventually, the door opened up.
上がって
Changing. Don't look. I'm gonna put on a hoodie. It's like, okay. All smiles. She was now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting. Oh my god. This guy is horrible. This guy's the worst. Look at this place, huh? Completely empty.
何にもないね。
Yeah.
冷蔵庫の中は
But get a load of what's in the fridge.
素晴らしい。
Subarashi.
飲みますか
Kompai.
やったぜ。
Yatase. I like the little gas mask symbol. Lemon chub. Place really was empty. A small room with a table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were 2 old-looking bookshelves, but they were also empty. I wasn't bothered one bit, though. Any girl's room was a wonderland to me.
大変だった春明さんにお疲れ様
Anyway, you went through some big trouble, so I'll help. So, I'll drink to you.
地獄で出会った仏様に
I'll drink to you for helping me out. Kampai. We opened our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. It was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and refreshing carbonation made for a good combo.
おいしいこのためだけに生きてる
I live for this.
若さでそれはないでしょ
You're too young to say that.
愛や将来にもまだ絶望して
You're right. I'm not despairing for my future love yet.
う。ところが就活という影が迫る。
Tokoroga. That's the sound of job hunting. It's coming here fast.
いやーやめてせっかくのビールがまずくなる
Yamete. Don't say that. You'll ruin my beer. She managed. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me.
誘いに乗っておいてなんだけど、
Might be a little late for this. Can I ask you something? Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she couldn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face. I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on.
僕は完全に正体不明の自称迷い人だよね。
To you, I'm just some stranger who says he's lost, right?
そうね
So nah.
君は年頃の女性。今は深夜。 ワンルームの密室で
And you are a young woman who invited
しまった。
a stranger like myself into an enclosed space and started getting drunk.
おお
身の危険を感じたりとかは？
Don't you think this is dangerous? She kept gulping the drink even as she formulated a response. The fact that I could just watch her do it made this a pretty risky situation, and yet
あんまりないかな。
Amari Naikano.
それは
Sorewa.
芹沢千恵美クイズ。
Time for a Chiemi quiz. See, like I said, localizer. It's like you listen to the voice line. It's a Chiemi quiz. That's my thing. I'm very much a the subtitle needs to match the voice line person. Because even if I'm not good at speaking Japanese, even if I barely understand the language, when I can tell you that you've got the words in the wrong order, because I can hear the words being said, I'm just like, why are the words in the wrong order in the subtitles? Now, that's like a whole debate, I guess. Because it's like... It's like when an anime character says last name then first name, but the subtitle has it flipped. I hate that.
イエーイ
Oh, that was a bad that was a bad line.
イエーイ
You know he was like trying over and over again. I know this because I've recorded videos. He was like, "Yay! Yay! Yay!"
イエーイ
It's like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. The part timeline that Indiana Jones says, they had a better take in the trailer that was somehow not in the final film. It's really funny.
問題。ふと気づいたら低層が瀬戸際にもかかわらず、芹沢千恵美は
Mumbai.
危険を感じない。なぜでしょう。
Sush, what game did you recommend to me? Alright, why is her virginity threatened? What? What a fun girl. This only made me like her more. Increasing the danger even further. Oh my god, this guy. Haruki. Just fucking stop, man. Just stop. What's wrong with you?
どうぞ。
Doza.
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えはなしでいいかな。
Boku. He said Boku. You know, this is like a discussion for like real fans of anime. Like the subtitles should say Boku. The subtitles should say Boku. Like when you're watching, even in dub. Subliminal messaging and all. Yeah, it's like a translator note that you didn't even know was a translator note. Because you can't have Boku spoken in English and have the meaning from it. But he thinks he's a young man. He's not a Ore-sama.
悪い人に見えるってわけじゃないけど、まあなしかな。女の子慣れしてそうだし。
Well, I don't think you look like a bad guy, but no doubt. I doubt you're good either. You look experienced with women for one. So, for Sush, Japanese has multiple ways to say the word I. So some people will say watashi. Some people will say boku. Others will say ore. And then there's a long list that you could go through. And I think it would be really clever if the translator noted it in like a subtle way, where in the dub they told you which version was present in the original language, because that's part of the characterization of these people, is how they refer to themselves. Do they use boku as a guy? Do they use anata as a girl? Or do they use watashi? Or, even better, is their name literally fucking Watashi? Oh, man. That game was a trip. I need to finish it. I gotta start it over. We gotta stream Root Double sometime. That unintentional compliment showed me that she actually didn't see me as a potential teacher. Why shift that button?
考えられる回答は大きく2つ。
There are two types of answers.
起きても問題ない。
Either you expect nothing bad to happen, but wouldn't be bothered if it did, or you want something to happen.
ふむ
Hmm?
前者はいろいろ考えられるかな。例えば、ちえみちゃんが何かやけっぱちになっていて、どうにでもなれって場合。
For example, you're on the edge and don't care what happens.
あるいは十分な自衛手段がある。
You think you can defend yourself. You know martial arts and could kick my ass.
おー、論理的。春明さん理系だね。
You're a scientist, aren't you?
まあそうかな。一方で後者、つまりこの状況が君の想定。
I guess you could say that. Now, for the latter scenario, if you intend for something to happen then...
私がエロエロですとか
I'm a thirsty perv or something. Wow. Talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきたな。
Blame it on the whiskey.
には何があるでしょう。
That always works. Yep. Some people say I got a drinking problem. I got no problem drinking at all. Yeah. Indeed. What other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard like,
の存在が、
you want to use me somehow.
例えば、
For example, setting me up as an alibi. I could be useful to you by attesting
君が有利。
you were here.
おー、ちゃっかり利用するわけだ。
Whoa. So shrewd.
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で、
Or maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here to get me drunk. Then kill me.
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
La Mamba. Vish, vish. I'm an evil witch. And I'm gonna kill you. What kind of sound effect was that?
ちなみに前提で出た2つのケースの他に1つあるよ。
By the way, you forgot one other case. Oh my gosh.
あれ抜けてた？
Ore? We get to talk.
うん。私がとってもいい人で、春明さんを助けてあげたい一心だっていうケース。
I could just be a good person, you know. Should I be ashamed of my filthy mind?
いやでもそれで自分が襲われるかもって考えたら
Is that really important enough to risk getting assaulted?
わあ、襲うって言っちゃったよこの人。
So you're thinking of assaulting me?
一般論ね。
Hey, just talking, the cliche scenario. Yeah, you know. She stopped talking and turned red. It was very cute, and I thought she was doing it on purpose. Man, she was really drunk. And we were just on our second can. Let's see. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cans. You're lying.
じゃあこういうのは？
And how about this?
それはさすがに忍びないなとか。
If I don't let you stay here, something even worse is going to happen. And I'd feel bad. Excuse me. Did that sound horrible to you? Did it sound like I was dying? I have no reference right now for how that sounded on stream. I'd feel bad if something worse happened to you.
ごめん。もうちょっと詳しく。
Care to elaborate?
この辺りには怖い野生動物が出ます。明日にはこの人はズタズタに引き裂かれてしまうかもしれません。
There's some scary wild animals around here. You might have gotten torn up and eaten.
このまま見捨てたらとても寝覚めの悪い思いをするかもしれません。
That would have left a bad taste in my mouth. So I figured I'd let you stay here instead.
なるほど。リスクと善意を天秤にかけるってわけか。これは想定外。
Balancing risk and goodwill. I didn't expect that.
想定外か。この人だいぶ悪い人なんじゃないかって気がしてきたな。
Really? Do you have any idea how much of a bad guy you seem like right now?
そう？
I do?
だって善意を選択肢に入れる前に殺人鬼とかアリバイとかエロエロとかさ。
You thought I was a perv? A serial killer? Or I needed an alibi before considering that I was a nice person?
エロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが。
You're the one that brought up the pervert thing.
そうだったっけ？で、答え。
That doesn't matter. What's the right answer?
これって単なるバカ話じゃないの？
We're not just messing around.
正解者には素敵なプレゼント。不正解者はブッシュブッシュ殺します。
Get it right, you get a present. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Seriously? I think... Oh no. I'd put it up to a poll, but I don't have enough people. Sush, what's your opinion on the choice? Which choice do you think would be funniest? Desperate, alibi, perv, or you'd feel guilty. Which one is most likely to lead to a bad end? Oh, she wants head pats. She's desperate.
ピンポーン、正解です。
You're right.
まあ詳しくは話さないけど、ちえみさんにもいろいろありましてね。いろいろ嫌になっちゃってまして。
I have my issues. I'm not having a good time recently, that's for sure.
年頃の女性は悩み大きいものだよ。 僕でよければ伺おうか？
I don't like hearing you out. All right. Oh no.
おお話せる男。
Wow.
リスクもクソも
So understanding.
お持ち帰りの展開か。
Forget about the talk about risk and all that stuff. You're gonna sweep me right off my feet and take me home, solving all my problems with words.
お持ち帰りも何も、ここはすでに君の家でしょうに。
Why would I take you home? I'm already at your place.
絶対絶命。しかしここで実は悩みを打ち明ける
Well-
などないという罠が。
My situation is dire. I'm not gonna say anything. You've fallen for my trap.
謎はな。もちろん。
That's a weird trap.
なら遠慮するよ。
I wasn't gonna force you to talk if you didn't want to.
いっそ年頃になってから話した方が逃亡不能かなと。
You'll find out when we're a little closer, if you know what I mean. It'll be harder for you to get away then.
そこまで聞いて手は出せないな。
Then I guess I won't touch you. God. Anyway, this girl was actually pretty sharp. She really had a way with words and knew how to capitalize on it. It almost felt like she was implying that I couldn't let my guard down just because I was a guy. Admittedly, she was pretty damn attractive, but I felt like I'd have more fun just talking about lewd stuff than acting on it. 5/12, Monday. I'm going to take a real quick break. I'll be right back. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-da. I got my water. Tomorrow, I get to enjoy something nice I bought myself. So I bought a couple of things at the liquor store yesterday. I bought like 3 different kinds of soju. I drank the yogurt one today. I was not expecting the yogurt soju to taste so good. But soju's dangerous, is what I will say. Soju is like the most dangerous thing I've ever had. Because it's perfectly portioned and perfectly, and I mean perfectly, like, tailored to getting you white girl wasted. Oh no, there's an ellipses. What sound do I make for an ellipses? Two ellipses in a row. If there's a third set of ellipses, we're gonna have to do something. Third set of ellipses. 3 sets of ellipses. We gotta fix something. We gotta set something up. This totally wasn't an excuse for me to alt tab for just a second. The last thing I remember was our little, when was the last time you pissed yourself while sleeping talk. I had to tell her about the time I got so drunk I wet my pants in the middle of a boarding house. Oh no, this piss talk's making me think we should just abandon the game. I'm abandoning the game over piss talk. Sush, do you have a different recommendation? Would you believe me if I told you that? That the piss talk is what drove me away? Can you hear that, Sush? Why are you crying? All right. She laughed so hard, she got rabies, then passed out. I woke up with a splitting headache. Oh man. Morning already. Light poured in through the frosted window. Pulled out my phone and checked the time. It was 7 a.m. Oh, 7 a.m. I wish I could wake up that late. But I've got a 9 to 5. Apparently that's easier than streaming, though. I've never done streaming as a career, so I can't say. I'd gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3, which probably wasn't enough sleep. I mean, you got 5 hours. That's better than a lot of people. At least I didn't wake up to some horror movie scene. You're going to wake up to a horror movie scene tomorrow, now that you've thought this. And the girl wasn't actually a skeleton, though this might have been worse. She was spread out on the floor on the other side of the mini table. Her breathing was mixed with some gurgling sounds. Hesitantly, I looked at her. She had puked in the middle of her sleep. Oh my gosh. This is like the thing from Breaking Bad. Because the one thing I remember from watching Breaking Bad was the scene where the woman overdoses on heroin and she's like vomiting in her sleep. And Walter White's in the room and he's like, I could save her. But you know what? I'm not saving her. I don't want to save her. It's a bad idea. And she just vomits to death. Chokes on her own vomit. What was I supposed to do here? As a guest, I couldn't really be harsh to her.
ちえみちゃん
Chiemi-chan. That's not good. Phew. She wasn't waking up. Well, I'd do what I could. There, that should be enough. I used a lot of toilet paper to clean their vomit up and flushed it. It left a stain on the floor, but it was dirty to begin with, so it was whatever. I mean, wet a towel and cleaned her face. She didn't even wake up from that. Some of it was on her hair and clothes, but I figured it was best if she took care of that herself.
ちゃん
Chiemi-chan. Kiryu-chan. Morning.
ちょっと出ておくから
I'll be leaving for a bit. Without waiting, I walked to the entrance. She'd have to take a shower and change, so I'd kill time outside. I stepped into my still damp shoes. My socks were in the washing machine with the towel. With the towel she gave me to wipe my legs. I reached for the doorknob. I opened the door and was greeted by a gust of wind. The raindrops gathered on the leaves of the tree next to the building flew right into my face, making me grimace. The rain from last night was already over. The sky was perfectly clear. Despite that, I noticed the visibility of my surroundings was poor. The building was surrounded by leaves. The old structure was basically buried in the forest, about as tall as itself. There were branches poking into the exposed hallway. It almost felt like they'd reach out and grab me if I wasn't careful. I kind of felt like I was in an overgrown ruin. The trees are gonna grab you. They're gonna grab you. They're gonna take you far, far away. I turned around. I saw the room Chiemi was in. Just as I left her. It was all real. I closed the door. There were other rooms in this building, which made me wonder if they were occupied. Hell, I wondered the same thing about the area in general. I pushed the branches aside to see if there were other buildings nearby. Suddenly, something entered my vision. It didn't feel right. Something that shouldn't have been there. The leaves I moved revealed a woman clad in curious clothing. The moment I recognized her as such, she opened her eyes. Did our eyes meet? Another strong wind. I shielded my face from the spray of raindrops. Then she was gone. Dun dun dun. Was that an illusion? If not, then what? What kind of place was this? It could have been a real Hicksville or a marginal village. A bunch of actual ruins or an illegal settlement. I had some theories, but I set them aside for now. It seemed like a place worth exploring regardless. I went down the stairs, found no sign of the woman, or anyone else for that matter. A short distance away from the building, I turned around, and sure enough, it was pretty much covered in trees. I went to the place where I saw the woman. There are footprints in the grass here. Maybe I'd find her if I followed them. They led me to an open area. It was unused, but it looked like someone was trying to do something with it. Was it supposed to be a construction site? Even if it was clearly abandoned, there were large rocks and lots of sediment near a prefab. From what I could tell, there had been a giant landslide which forced them to stop construction. The fact that plant growth was still minimal meant that it had happened fairly recently. The footprints seemed to be going downhill next to the site. Following them, I finally saw what might be called a civilization. There were a set of paddy fields with houses nearby. So this actually was a settlement. What a relief. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop adding my own sound effects. I approached the settlement and came across another unpaved path that was clearly used by people and cars. It was lined with weeds and bushes reaching up to my waist. It was home to caterpillars, grasshoppers, and among other things, spiders. There's no shortage of them here, so it's a good place for them. I wasn't scared of spiders, but I don't like them either. At least they were harmless orb weavers. Regardless, I avoided the bushes just in case. and followed the path like the good city boy I was. Oh no, he's a city boy. There was a large boulder surrounded by grass. It was strangely tall, making it look like it was put there by people. Sush, I think Haruki is probably literally the guy that posted to Reddit like, guys, anytime I see grass, I get an uneasy feeling. And I miss the concrete jungle that I live in. He's literally that guy. On its dewy surface, there was a gray tree frog, ready to go after the many insects scattered about. I walked a bit further and came across a house with a small field nearby. The field's location made it safe to assume that it belonged to the inhabitants. There were inhabitants. I couldn't see anyone. And just like always, there was grass everywhere. There was another building set next to a house, obviously placed by a human hand. What was the point? Was it a monument or something? The footprints continued into the field. The wet mud on the field of small, young, healthy-looking rice plants. If you ignored the boulders, the place looked like a normal farming village. I was relieved and worried at the same time. From what I saw, there weren't any other buildings besides the ones in this settlement. Everything beyond was just mountains, meaning that this place was completely isolated. And I was a complete outsider. There was no way things would go well if I ran into a random local. I belatedly crouched myself to hide a bit. It was probably best for me to go back. Shammy might have been looking for me. Suddenly, I heard a sound. Its source was a speaker I found on a wooden utility pole in the middle of a small plaza. Morning broadcast? I'd never heard this tune before. It was cheerful at first, but it had some parts. It seemed really dark. Found it unsettling. Perplexed, I stopped walking and went to check. I stopped walking, and what happened next made me hide myself. There was a person in the area, densely surrounded by houses. But they weren't normal. What was with that appearance? What was on their face? Though I was a fair distance away, I could see an old woman with some sort of cloth over her face shakily walk out from between the buildings. Oddly enough, there were boulders even here. Even weirder, she walked up to one of them, lightly joined her hands, and bowed her head before it, her face still hidden. Then all was silent. It actually looked like she was revering it. To me, it looked like she was praying to it. This was bad. Really bad. I wandered into a settlement with a unique culture, to put it lightly. Forget causing trouble. An outsider like me, I could get killed here. I just turned around and ran for it. I dashed up the hill. past the house, through the construction site. Then I arrived back at the apartment building. Chammy looked relatively reasonable. Maybe she could tell me what was up. It hit me. The way she described this place was weird. She said it wasn't normal.
あるいはちえみちゃんが恐るべき
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
No way. What if she was actually the bait they used to lure outsiders here? Eventually, the broadcast stopped. Chammy still hadn't come out of her room. She didn't respond when I knocked or called to her. I didn't have to worry about this, right? That made my unease grow inexplicably worse. Was this a trap? Was I in a dangerous situation? I had to go talk to her. If she was a normal person, at least. Maybe my best option was to run away now. I wouldn't know where to run. I couldn't remember the path we'd taken to get here. Though, I was pretty sure we'd gone uphill, so maybe I had to go downhill. If I avoided the settlement and went back to the mountain stream, I could escape by following the wild roads. That was my best option, even with the difficulties considered. Sush! Sush, are you there? Prediction time. Prediction time with Ethereal. The little stream that we crossed a little while ago is flooded. And we can't leave. That's my prediction. I took out a 5,000 yen note and put it in Chammy's newspaper box as payment for last night's beer. The moment I turned around to take my leave, the door to the next room. The door next to the staircase opened slightly with a creak. Oh. There was an eye glaring at me through the gap. Her high-pitched scream pierced my eardrums. I screamed. Scared shitless, I ran for it. I fell. Thud, thud, thud.
どうした？
Haru-chan, what's wrong?
誰
Who's this old guy?
あなた誰ですか？っていうか大丈夫ですか？
Daijoubu desu ka? The reasonable sounding voice prompted to shake me off the pain and raise my head. There were two boys in formal-looking school uniforms. School uniforms. Dangerous. Very dangerous.
大丈夫ですか？
Daijoubu desu ka? He repeated the question.
ああ、ちょっと驚いただけで。
Choto odoriko darike.
おっちゃん、知恵姉の友達？
Otan chiene de otonaki? Chiene?
ああ、ちえみちゃんのことか。
Ah, chiene tokonoka.
大学のお知り合いですか？お知り合いが来るなんて聞いてなかった。
Are you a friend of hers from college? She didn't tell us anyone was visiting.
いや、いろいろあって助けられたんだ。怪しいものじゃないんだ。
Oh,
怪しい。
I just got into some trouble. She helped me out. There's nothing really shady about me. I know that's hard to believe.
いいな、おっちゃん。
Ayashina Oji-chan?
ど
Old man, huh?
うすればいいのかな。
How do I handle this?
名前は房石春明と言います。
Namawa Huishi Harukaimas.
僕は織部安永です。こっちは鴨志田近持。
Oribe. I'm Oribe. This is Chikamochi Kamoshida.
モッチーだ。
Mochida. Good to know. If I called him that, maybe he'd stop calling me old man. I was only 24 after
そ
all.
れでこっちが春ちゃん。
This is Haru-chan. What are you doing?
だって知らない人が。
We don't know him. Haru-chan was the person who looked at me through the gap in the door and
と
screamed.
りあえず大丈夫そうだから出ておいでよ。
He seems safe. Come on out. A moment later, she slammed the door shut, and after a few moments of hesitation, she opened it again. Whoa. She looked like a student too, except her fashion sense was exceptionally flashy.
あなた、誰ですか？
Who are you?
房石春明と言って、
Uh,
近くでバイクで事故って、芹沢千恵美さんに助け
my name is Fusaishi. I crashed my motorbike nearby, and Chiemi-san helped me out.
それってもしかして昨日
You're saying you spent the night in her room?
止めてもらった。
I did.
通りで騒がしかったと思った。何考えてるの？嫁入り前の女性の家に。
That's why it was so noisy. What are you thinking? You're not supposed to enter an unmarried girl's room. It's indecent.
ああ、うん。それはその通りで、僕もちょっと躊躇はしたんだけど、千恵美ちゃんが親切で。
I was hesitant, but Chiemi let me in.
ちえみちゃん？あれなれしい。それじゃあもしかしてちえ姉が出てこないのって。
Why are you acting like you've known her your whole life? She's not coming out. Don't tell me. You.
ドアに5000円挟んであるじゃん。
There's a 5,000 yen note in the door.
房石さん。
Don't tell me you.
違う。単に昨日お酒をおごられたから、そのお返しで。
No. We just drank ourselves silly. I felt like I owed her some money for restocking the fridge, y'all. That's it.
ちえ姉の体が5000円ってそんな安いわけないでしょ。
Chiene's body is worth way more than 5,000 yen. Way more. 5,000 yen? That's nothing. Okay? Think about it like this, okay? 2,500 yen is roughly $40 right now. All right? You're saying You're saying a night with Chie was only worth $80, not even 100? That's insulting.
ただれてるな。
How dissolute. What the hell are these kids saying?
あー君助けてくれないか？
Can you help me out?
初対面で女性の部屋でお酒を飲んだんですか？
You drank with the girl you just met,
来ない。
and she's not coming out. I have no allies here.
一体何事？
What's going on? So the subject of the conversation joined in.
おお、ちえみちゃん、君からも事情を説明。
Chiemi, can you tell them what happened last night? Something was off about her aura. What happened to the girl she had been yesterday?
知恵ねえ。まさか。
恥ずかしいとこを見られちゃ
おお。
Man, this is embarrassing.
ちょっと待って、ちょっと。
う。もう嫁いけない。
I can't be a bride anymore. And what a mess. Though Chiemi's face was all pale, she was actually grinning. She obviously had a bad hangover, but that didn't stop her from messing around. After calming down, Chiemi explained what actually happened to everyone. How we met in the middle of the night, how she let me stay out of goodwill, how we drank ourselves silly, and how there was nothing between us.
いやー、久々に深酒しちゃって思いっきり入っちゃったよ。春明さん、お見苦しいと。
It's been a while since I drank that much. I hope the sound effect worked.
I
don't mind it. That Haruchan still looked at me funny. Oh my gosh. That's really funny. In Danganronpa V3, there's a girl that has like a really weird face that she makes constantly. And unless she's making that face, she looks normal. And I don't know why, but Haruchan's reminding me of that.
非常識。
Absurd.
あ
Hijoshiki.
ー、申し訳ない。
Sorry, I was just so tired yesterday that I couldn't refuse her kindness.
まあ、知恵ねえだしな。雑把だよな。
Well, this is Chie we're talking about. She does whatever she wants.
事情も事情だし。年寄り。
He's got good reasons for being here too. Maybe the elders will understand.
ちなみに会ったのってどこです？
Where did you find him anyway?
それはね。
Sohimane.
下の方の河原だよ。
Next to the river further down. My words made everyone change their expressions.
それはちょっと。
Choto.
大騒ぎだ。
That's a big deal.
2日連続で2人もだなんて。
2 people in 2 days.
まずいこと言った。
Did I say something wrong?
まあ、いずれバレることよ。さっきあれだけ大騒ぎしちゃったから休みず中に知れちゃったろうし。
Well, it was going to get out sooner or later, and we kind of made a scene, so I wouldn't be surprised if everyone in Yasumizu knows already.
君、2日連続で2人持って。
What do you mean by 2 people in 2 days?
汚い。
Don't touch me, you're filthy. I wasn't touching her, and I wasn't filthy. Sure, I hadn't had a bath in a day, but still.
何が騒ぎになるの？
What do you mean a big deal?
あたりが拒否ってなる。
Taiba is going to lose her mind. That sounded bad.
詳しい話を聞かせてくれない？
Can you tell me more?
ちょっと説明は難しいんで
It's a bit complicated for now.
ここは田舎なんで
Just keep in mind that this is the countryside, and things are a little bit different here than in the city. This guy here, Oribe-kun. Ignoring Chimmy, he was the easiest to talk to.
どうすればいいかな？
What should I do?
まあちえみがなんとかしましょう。
Just leave it to me.
学生諸君はとりあえず
It's time for students to eat, isn't it?
この混乱には乗るっきゃない。
But I want to see where this mess goes.
乗るっきゃなくないもっち。とりあえず行っちゃ
No, you don't. Just go already. We'll catch up.
まあちょっと時間ず
I guess it's best to go separately.
揉めそうで
There's probably going to be some disagreements.
さすがやすくん、察しがいいぞ。
I knew you'd understand.
二人の思い
Take care of them for me, alright?
もう知恵ね、子供扱いはやめてよ。
Stop treating me like a child.
そうだ、うんこしてやるぞ。
I swear I'll poop on you.
ほらほら行くぞモッチーにはるちゃん
Let's get going, Mochi Haru-chan. This is like textbook example of what I'm talking about. When I talk about like the written down thing not matching the subtitle. The subtitle doesn't match the voice line. You can hear him clearly say their names.
ほらほら行くぞモッチーにはるちゃんほらほら行くぞモッチーにはるちゃんほらほら行くぞモッチーにはるちゃん
Ora ikuzo? Mochin Haru-chan? So clearly, you know, let's get going. Then he says their name. And that's very different from not saying their names. It's subtle, but it adds up. I'm being honest here.
彼らがこの建物の
So-
他の住人？
They live in this building too.
そういうこと。
Yep.
学生寮
It's a student dorm, you know. Student dorm? In this Hicksville? Still, my senses had betrayed me. There are actually other people here.
ちなみに春明さん、他の人と出会ってトラブったりしてないよね。
By the way, did you run into anyone else and get in trouble?
うん。一応それ計画。
I was careful on that front.
ほらよかった。
Good.
ちょっとし
Let's get ready to go to the dining hall. I really like this font, by the way. Just the way the G swirls in on itself. And it's like a... I don't know. I don't know what you call it when the lowercase letters do these things. Because I'm pretty sure you're going to see it with like the P and the Q and everything. I don't know. I like this font.
あ、
Oh,
朝食？
for breakfast.
の朝食は今から食べてください。食堂へは一応
Yeah.
話をしに行くの。
It is kind of like the Mr. Saturn font. We'll go to the dining hall and introduce you.
誰と？
To who?
よそ者が皿長からやってきたってことに文句を言いそうな人たち。
To whoever has a problem with an outsider coming from Saranaga. So, like Taiba.
お世話になります。
I'm in your hands then. By the way, when I uncorked that thing I'm drinking, I haven't taken a sip of it yet. It smells so good. But it's one of those, you have to be like a whiskey enjoyer. Oh man, that's so good.
いいってことです。その代わり朝のことは秘密で。
It's fine. If you're that grateful, keep what happened this morning a secret.
そりゃもちろん。ところで、
Sure.
ラナガって何？
What's
あの河原？
Saranaga anyways? Is that the river?
そう、サラナガの瀬っていう川だけど、あの
Yep.
まとめてさ
The river is called the Saranaga
ちょっ
Rapids,
と曰くのある場所でね。
but the area around it's called Saranaga. The place has some cultural significance.
曰く。
It does?
うん。あの川は汚れていて、死人が帰ってくるみたいな伝説がね。
They say it's a corrupt place where the dead return from the other side. Oh. So that's why they reacted like that.
他にもその手のルールというか、しきたりみたいなのが？
Are there any other rules or customs I should be aware of?
たくさんあります。なので基本、ちえみちゃんにお任せを。
Oh, there's lots. So just leave everything to me, alright?
ちなみに、身の危険とかは？
Am I in danger?
ないない。でも、いろいろ不愉快な思いをする前に。
No, but you should try to escape before something unpleasant happens to you. Oops. Well, since I'm already clicked off.
Do you believe in miracles?
Hmm. I'm tempted to do something. I'm debating it, though. Because I'm worried that it'll tag people that aren't regular viewers. Hmm. You should try to escape before something unpleasant happens to you.
そのための根回しに行くと。
And you're gonna lay the groundwork for that, huh?
そうそう。
Yep. Yep. The settlement I strayed to was a weird place, but at least the guide was reliable. And she wanted me to leave ASAP, huh?
Hmm?
That was depressing. Chiemi gave me some cup ramen for breakfast. She boiled the water in a small electric kettle. She was too hungover to eat anything. I did take the opportunity to pay her back for last night's drinks in person, though. Then we made our way to the dining hall.
この岩って何なの？
What are these boulders?
一応お守りみたいなもの。
They're like charms, I guess. They've been here forever.
そでは見たことないよ。
I've never seen anything like them anywhere else.
ああ、言われたらそうかも。
They're unique to this area. She led me along a narrower path than I'd followed earlier. It didn't seem like any cars used this one. It was very farmy, I guess. This area was also littered with those boulders. Some were cracked, some were broken, some were half buried in the fields. They were a clear religious symbol, but it didn't look like they were that important these days. Or maybe they were. Now that I knew it was safe, I once again became curious about this place. Oh, there's a person. He was working in the field.
Takumi 兄ちゃんだ。おはよう。
That's Takumi. Chimmy waved her hand. The man responded, then froze mid-wave.
行きましょう。
Let's go.
多分あの人僕の存在に
Are you sure we should? That guy looked pretty surprised to see me.
大丈夫。どうせ後で食堂に来るから説明
Don't worry.
時にする
He'll be at the dining hall soon. We'll explain things then. As an outsider, I had no choice but to rely on her. This was part of the village I saw this morning, where the buildings were more densely packed. I didn't notice it back then, but it was actually kind of weird. Basically, it felt desolate. The wooden bungalows, in particular, were more or less overgrown, buried in the grass and other greenery. If this was all I saw of the village, and someone told me it was abandoned, I would have believed them. However, two of the buildings stood out. There was a hall right behind the hill. It wasn't that big, but it looked grand and well maintained. The other building was obviously the dining hall. It looked a bit dirty, but you could tell there were people inside. And from what I could tell, it was the most lively place in this poor excuse of a community. Suddenly, 3 students walked out chatting about something.
知恵ねと久石さん
Ah, hi.
再度おはよう。ちょっと遅くない？
Morning again. Aren't you late?
モッチーがバカなことばっか言って遅くなっちゃったんだもん。
We took forever because Mochi doesn't stop talking nonsense.
そうだ、僕が悪だ。味噌汁をよこせ。
Yes, I am evil. Give me miso soup.
まあ早足なら間に合うでしょう。みんなしっかり勉強しといで。
You'll make it if you hurry. Behave in class, you guys. Half dashing, the 3 ran up the path where we came from.
みんな高校生なんだ
They're high schoolers, aren't they?
そう。山をぐーっと登ったところに分校があるんだ。
Yep. There's a branch school all the way up the mountain. I was going there myself 3 years ago.
不便だね
Sounds like a hassle.
それでもみんなあの寮に住める分
It's not bad.
されてるんだけど。
At least we get to live in that town. I mean, in that dorm. She was entirely straight-faced. There wasn't even a hint of a smile.
さあ、気合を入れて入りましょう。
All right, let's get psyched.
そうしましょう
Yeah.
気合入んない。
I'm not convinced. We laughed a little and passed the curtain.
いらっしゃい。あら、
Oh. Inside was as aged as the outside, but it looked well maintained.
ちえみちゃん、お客さん？
Is he a visitor? The hostess-looking lady asked. Though somewhat aged and fatigued, she was definitely beautiful. There were 2 others beside her. One was an old lady in her 70s, or maybe her 80s. She probably was the one I saw this morning The silhouette matched. The other was a man who seemed a bit younger, probably in his late 60s. Though they were just sitting there was a menacing aura about them.
紹介するね。房石春明さん。
I'll introduce him.
サラナガで迷ってたの。
This is
保護しました。
Fusaishi Haruki. I found him at Saranaga last night and took him into my care. Their reactions were powerful. The lady gasped while the two elders rose to their feet with alarm. The tension that was already there the moment I walked in reached its peak.
気にするのもわかるけど、これは単なる偶然です。
I know this looks concerning, but it's just a coincidence.
あの子と違って、この人は素性が明らかだし、バイクで旧道に突っ込んで事故ったって非常に気の毒な事情もある。
Unlike that little girl, he knows exactly where he came from. He went on an old path with his bike and crashed. It's really sad.
我々としては
That's why I think we should help him leave.
どうですか？
What do you think? After saying all that, the ball was in their court.
まあ
No,
大変。
that is trouble. She voiced a harmless opinion, careful not to upset the old people. It was pretty clear who was in charge. They were the elders in more ways than one.
なんで夜にサラナガなんぞ言っとったかね。
Chijawa. Why did you even go to Saranaga last night?
虫の知らせかな。前の日にあんなことあったし。
I had a hunch. I couldn't fall asleep.
じゃあやっぱり読み人じゃないんかね。
He's got to be a Yomibito.
やめ、タイバー。
Shut it, Taiba. From the conversation, it was pretty clear that something happened before I arrived. Something similar to what happened with me. She'd mentioned a little girl. Perhaps there was a child who'd wandered in here like I did. According to Chiemi, the Saranaga Rapids were a place of significance around here. It was a place from which the dead people came to life, or whatever. So this Tai must have been the lady the boy mentioned, and the Yambito must be the term for the dead who came from here. Apparently, the primary goal here was convincing these elders to approve of helping me.
おい、どっから来た？
Where are you from? The old man's voice derailed my mind back on track.
はい、東京です。
いくつじゃ？
How old are you?
年は24です。
24です.
地位より上じゃが。
He chuckled, and I immediately realized he was taking a jab at me for hiding behind a younger girl.
申し遅れました。房石春明です。芹沢さんにも紹介された通り、バイクで事故って迷い込みました。
It's nice to meet you. I'm Fusaishi. Like she said, I wandered into town after my bike crashed.
どうやら僕はここでは異分子のようで、変な
I'm an outsider here, so I didn't want to speak out of turn.
かけたくないなと。それで芹沢さんに紹介をお願いしたんですが、僕から改めてお願いします。
That's why I asked her to speak on my behalf, but I think I should say something at least.
すぐ出て行きますから、それまでは僕の存在を多めに見ていただけないかと。
I won't trouble you any longer than I have to, so I would be grateful if you pardoned my brief stay.
それと、僕を助けてくれた。
And please, don't blame her for helping me.
春明さん、
Haraiki-san.
おそらく芹沢さんはここの常識を外れたところで僕を助けてくれたんだと思うんです。
I think she went against the village's customs by helping me. The students also seemed surprised.
まあ
これでも大人です。自分の責任は自分で取りますし、皆さんにかけた迷惑は可能な限り償います。
I'm an adult willing to take responsibility for any trouble I caused as best I can.
ですのでどうかお願いします。
So please put up with me. I bowed my head.
ちゃんとしとる、タイバ
He seems all right, Taiba.
あたしゃすかんわね。そんなに髪茶色に染めてから。
I don't know about that. Look at his hair. All colored brown. I forgot I didn't look presentable to more traditional people.
よそは皆こうよ。はよう返せばええ。
Outsiders are all like that. Just help him get out of here, he says.
じゃあ好きにしなさいね。
Do what you want. I guess I got her half-hearted approval.
春秋。春か。うちの孫も春じゃ。紛らわしい。
Haruaki. Haru. Just like my granddaughter Haruki. What a mess.
あ、もしかして
That means you're...
はるちゃんのおじいさんの牧島勘三さんよ。
That's Makishima Kanzo.
どうも。
What a pleasure. I didn't know what else to say. Haru-chan and I weren't on the best of terms so far. Anyway, it seems like we were past the difficult part.
皿長に突っ込んだか。
Drove into Saranaga, eh?
いえ、コンビニで道を聞いた後、脇道に入って未舗装になったところで滑り落ちて。
No, I asked for directions at the konbini, went down a side road, and lost control of my bike on an unpaved section.
で、皿長登ったか。なぜ途中で引き返さねえ。
Then you went